right, guys, the video you've all been waiting for. Well, or at least I've been. This right here is a little spot I did a couple videos on. I think it was 3. It was about turning clay into grass. And as y'all can see, if y'all go back and watch the videos, now I'm gonna put a link to all of the videos. And I'd appreciate it if you go back and just watch all of those videos. Look at the transition, look at what we've done and what we did to get here. If you're interested in turning clay into grass, whether you're grazing cattle, whether you're just doing the clay like it's a bare spot on your property, no matter what it is, if you're interested in taking a bare spot and turning it into grass, go back and watch those other videos and then come back and watch this one. Okay, so anyone who has already seen those videos, as you can see, this is the start. Okay, this is what starts to happen. Now this has never happened, just to be clear, this is ryegrass, okay? But this has not happened since I've been in control of the property and since I've known the people that were, okay? So that's about 7 years in the amount of time that I've actually been over here, because there's a pond right up here and I've fished out of that pond before I ever had this property. But now this is my property, I own it, okay? And there was never any grass here, ever. Okay, the whole time I've been here, nothing. It's been bare soil. Okay, so now that we're clear on that, take a look at what's going on here. All right, you see all this grass growing up. It is rye, but there was never even ryegrass. Okay, now this is real stringy and it's real woody and it's coming straight up to a seed head. Okay, and the reason for that is going to immediately come to a seed head before it ever puts on any leaf with this specific grass, because there's not a lot of nutrients down there. Okay, we're coming from bare clay. Okay, so it's immediately putting on a seed head. So that's a really good lesson for anyone if they don't understand the way that grass works. The less nutrition in the ground, the faster that it comes to a seed head. That's one of the reasons. Okay, now you can see some of these other places where there's better nutrition and better water. Right here, this is actually a bad, nasty spot where the water drains from the pond. We've got to get that fixed, and it just stays nasty in here during the winter and fall and spring. Okay, so it's something we're going to fix, but it is a good place to learn from. Where there's water and where there's more nutrition, the grass is thicker, the blades are thicker before it comes to a seed head. But this over here, there's not enough for it to survive on, so it comes straight to a seed head so that it can repopulate. Okay, that's actually a good thing, because that means that we're going to get lots of seed in here. Okay, so what we did, if you went back and watched those videos, you saw what we did. We actually did 2 bales and we spread it all out over this whole spot. So it was summer grass that we spread out. So there's summer grass seed in here. When you spread out a bale of summer grass, whether there is winter grass in there or not, somehow or another you end up getting winter grass coming. And part of that is simply because of the high nutrition. This spot over here is another spot I did it to last year, okay? And it was nothing but bare rock. And it's already, I didn't even do anything this year to it. This winter I didn't do anything, okay? But last winter I did something to it and it's already gotten a lot better. Okay, that was actually a different place. I may even, if I can find that video, I'll put a link to that one too. That one I actually just spread ryegrass on. Okay, but it's a lot of the same outcome. We still got some summer grass growing up through there. Okay, but this right here, we spread 2 bales of hay out, had the cattle walk all over it, trample it in and eat what was there. They ate quite a bit there. It's one of the rare places that I actually think that bale grazing is a good thing, is spots like this. But as you can see, it worked very well. So this is the beginning stages of it. You'll start to see this ryegrass come out, and what we'll do is we'll let it come to seed completely. We will not let them graze it until it comes to seed. We want it to come to seed completely. Then we'll let them on it and graze what they will, possibly even mob them on it and let them trample what is not coming to seed. If at all possible, you let the rye come to seed as much as possible so you can get as much of that rye seed in there. Okay, Now all of that's going to do multiple things. That's going to get you more seed in your soil, helping for next year, because ryegrass is a great starter for your soil because it grows so easy. Okay, so it's one of the easiest, fastest ways to get new carbon back in your soil besides putting hay on there. Okay, the goal is to not have to put any more hay on it, but if we do, then we will. Okay, but the goal is to, now that the grass is growing, to let it do the work itself. Okay, so we want it to come to seed as many times as possible. We're talking about the ryegrass. Okay, now the summer grass most likely will not grow very well at all in this spot, is my predicament. Okay, I mean, what I predict is what I mean to say. That most likely it will not grow very well. We will get some, and what we do, we'll do the same thing, let it come to seed. Okay, but what happens is it's the next year after it rests. Okay, you run cows on there, but you mob them on there, let them trample more than they eat. Okay, and what's going to happen is by next year, then you'll start to see some good summer grass coming on, because those seeds get down in there, and the cattle trampling that helps it. It's real similar to plowing it, but without exposing it to more sunlight. Because what's happened here is this has been exposed to sunlight for so long that it's completely pulled all of the carbon from the soil. And of course, most of what it is here is that it's just bare clay. The topsoil has been washed all the way off, but any carbon that could have possibly been on it is gone. Okay, so we're trying to get seed, we're trying to get carbon, and we're trying to get fertilization. Fertilization's coming from the cattle and from the breakdown of the hay. And you can tell a lot of that old hay is really starting to break down. Okay, and so that hay that's breaking down in here, I can hopefully I'll find some earthworms. I'm not, it's just going to be rot right now, unless I could get down farther. But anyway, what's happening is the earthworms, this soil was so hot before, because it was constantly exposed, that earthworms and microorganisms are not going to come up to the surface. For one reason is because there was nothing there for them to consume. Okay, so the soil was practically dead. But secondly, it's just too hot. Earthworms and microorganisms can't stand the soil being too hot. They need something to help cool the ground down. So that has actually allowed the soil to start to cool down. Okay, but here's another thing. Okay, kind of like this piece that I just uncovered here. Hasn't rained probably about a week. You can see how wet that is. Okay, that's because this is organic matter. Okay, organic matter helps your ground how do I say this? I don't even remember exactly the numbers. It helps your ground to hold more water. All of the more organic matter that you have in your soil, the more water it's going to hold. Okay, I've actually done another video where I was talking about that, and it was right after I did some research on it, so I was pretty fresh on my numbers. At the moment, I'm not real fresh on my numbers as far as that research goes, but it's quite a bit more water. Okay, if I can come up with it again, I'll put that down in the description as well. Go and look at the description of all my videos. A lot of times I'll put stuff down in there. Okay, but it helps your ground to hold more moisture. When it's just bare red clay, it's not going to hold any moisture. Okay, when it rains on it, it can get nasty and mucky and won't drain real well. Everyone knows that about clay, but it's also going to dry out real easy because it's exposed to the sun. There's no covering. Okay, so what you want is you want to increase your organic matter. That's the #1 most important thing. But if you can use hay and cattle, then you're increasing your organic matter, you're increasing your litter, and you're helping the cattle, you're having the cattle trample that seed into the ground, the same as plowing it or tilling it, without exposing it to the sunlight and causing more carbon to be leached from the ground. Okay, when your soil is exposed to the sunlight, it pulls carbon from the ground. okay? Hay and grass trampled on the ground from cattle actually helps the carbon to bind into the soil, which is what you want for good soil, okay? So using cattle and hay is the best possible way, in my opinion, to fix a spot like this, okay? But let's say for a minute that you're a yard owner, like you own a yard, you don't own any animals, you don't have any livestock or anything like that, and you're just simply wanting to fix a bare spot like this, okay? I would definitely still suggest going and buying, depending on how big it is, going and buying some hay and covering it with hay because it's got seed in it, okay? If you do not want that specific grass on there, you want a specific grass, you do not want that grass, okay? Then you could get an actual thing of compost soil or something like, you know, some type of compost or topsoil or something like that and cover it and things of that nature. I truly find that hay is the best thing whether you want that type of grass or not, okay? But putting something down, an organic matter that will hold the moisture in and give the microorganisms something to eat is going to be the key to that, okay? So anyway, guys, wanted to show this video. Definitely, if you have not done it, go check out those other videos. You need to see what this looked like beforehand. And this is just the beginning. I'm gonna post some more videos trying to show y'all just how well something like this can heal up. It does take a little patience and not really a whole lot of work, but definitely a little patience and a little bit of knowledge. So thanks everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe.